skill set you're talking about is exactly how you overcome that avoidance. It's how you learn to overcome it, by shifting your perspective around it, by like asking yourself, is this entirely true? Is there another way to look at this perspective? And then making a plan to approach that discomfort after you've sat with it and felt that discomfort and moved through it. Hey, howdy, hey, it is me. I'm on a podcast. Welcome to another episode of Fearless. I'm your host, Crystal Stanton. Get ready to rock and roll today, everyone, because we are coming in hot with another incredible guest who is going to knock your socks off. So, as you know, this podcast is all about sharing stories and learning from other incredible women, how to tap into your courage, find yourself again, start dreaming big again, and grab your fear by the hand so you can take that first bold, courageous step towards the life that you deserve and desire. So I am really, really excited today because my guest today has an incredibly unique perspective to share on how we can start living a life with more abundance, harmony, tranquility with our environment that we live in. She is a proud Bidjara woman. I probably have mispronounced that. Please correct me soon. She is a cultural wellness practitioner who is on a mission to help us learn how to combine ancient Aboriginal wellness and modern day mindset strategies to create earth, mind, body, and spirit well-being. Please welcome Bel Harvey to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here with you today, love. And yes, I am a proud Bidjara woman. It's all good. It's all good. I get it. And yes, so thank you, yes, so much for having me on here today.
Yes, thank you for coming to share your wisdom and insights with us. And really where I wanted to start is with origin stories. So I would, love to know, what was it that helped you discover your meaningful mission here on Earth? Like, was it a spider bite? Did you fall in a pit of radioactive waste? Were your parents murdered in front of the opera house? Like, what was the defining moment or experience that made your mission clear and inspired you to take that leap and follow that mission?
Oh, wow. All right. So I had been a truck driver for a while. Let's just put it that way. Don't look at the grey hairs. And yeah, so I was very much in the lifestyle of you need to work hard to get anywhere and just find whatever job you could. And so that was my nomadic life, just driving around, traveling around, finding work wherever, and just enjoying traveling. So I was not expecting to have a child, though I fell pregnant to a little miracle. And it was in that time of being pregnant was what we call received our calling. It's also like receiving our purpose. And that calling was plain and simple, reconnect to country. And so then I'm like, 1, what is this? 2, what does it mean? 3, why me? So I didn't have that much knowledge of my first Australian culture or anything like that. I was just happy to flow through life, not really achieving much because who am I? Mentality. And but this calling, this voice in the back of my head just wouldn't shut up. It was no matter what I did, it was always there. And like I was really scared. I'm like, I don't know where to even begin.
Yeah.
So, and so I'm like, okay, just follow what was going on. I was going through personal stuff as well. And as I've just continue on over the last 2-3 years, I've come to realize that when my womb was activated, that is the only reason why I was open enough to receive my calling.
Wow.
And because what I've realized through this journey is that women are like, we have a portal inside of us. That's our womb. We bring spirit beings into the physical world through a portal that is only within us. And it's within that water of the nurturing and developing is how we can bring life into this world. So it was only because that portal was activated was of me receiving my divine intuition and my calling. So going back to the journey, still didn't know where to begin and anything. So it's just I was doing a lot of personal development work, and I went to a little group who had a couple speakers, and I got like hit with a jolt of going, you need to be a speaker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, again, I don't like speaking in front of people. How can I be a speaker if I don't like speaking in front of people?
Yeah.
So then that was another hurdle for me to like dive into and be like, why? And so I've done a lot of limiting beliefs to get to where I am now. And like, so if I've done this much in like 3 years, goodness knows what the world's going to be like in another 3 years with interviews, with radios, with sessions that I do. It's going to be amazing as to the development of this from now on. And the more I sit in with it, the more messages and like wisdom from my ancestors come to me, and I've just made the choice just to go with it and follow that wisdom, because it's age-old knowledge and a path that they only know for me. So I've just got to put trust in that, and it's been working out so far. I literally have to remove myself out of the way. Like, I'm still going to have my fears, but it's like, how am I going to tackle these fears? Who can I go to for help and support to just move this hurdle out the way or jump over it to go on to the next stage?
Yeah. I love like listening to you talk. I love the way you were talking about like why me? Why have I been given this mission? Why not somebody else? But then how you've come to learn to like stop asking why and just trust it. Just trust that is coming through you for a purpose, for a reason. Like, and yeah, I just think that's a really cool way to think about it. I think we get so stuck in the why, right? Like if you think about building a brand or building a business, like, well, what's your why? What's your reason why? Why? But I think that's a cool way to just be like, it doesn't matter why. I just know that this is what I'm meant to do. So I'm just doing it.
And honestly, the why has now been developing as to the answer. The reason why is because I'm a woman who's not afraid to go and do things by herself. I'll travel solo. I was a female truck driver for nearly 15 years.
Yeah.
I don't mind going by myself to go and get something done. I've got enough courage to see something that it's a goal of mine and go towards it. So I'm like, of course I'm the person why this is for. Because I'm the only crazy enough person to go, I'll trust in something that I cannot physically see, touch, hear, smell, anything. I'll trust into something that is completely out of my family's and my social, back then social group belief.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You've got the strength.
So yeah, the why has come later.
Yeah.
And it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to circle back too, because I've never really heard anyone talk about like, yes, I've heard about like the the beauty of being able to create life and like motherhood and that journey, but I've never heard anyone talk about it in terms of like a portal to like the spirit world or the quantum field, or like how we get from spirit to human and earth side. Like I've never heard anyone talk about that before in that way, and I just think it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful way to talk about that journey of motherhood.
Yeah, and like that's part of the divine feminine and the water. Like that's all in the 14 elements as well, and so like we get affected with grandmother moon, because the moon affects the tides, it affects the water, and we have water within ourselves. Like when we say it's that time of the month, it's like, well, the time of the month of the moon month, and so when like we just get affected with that. That's why we're so connected to it. And when we have our period, it's like I'll go inwards, and a lot of people just think that just go inside and hide. It's like, no, you actually got to go into your intuition, into your power, because your womb is activated. It's going through this cycle that is completely normal, completely natural, and it's go inwards. It's going into that power of the ancient wisdom, and it's either, when we go into that power, it's either going to be for a creative journey or a healing journey. So yeah, I could go down another aspect of that, but yeah.
How is that though? Because like we really sort of, in modern society, it's really seen as like a burden, right? And it's like a hindrance, and like all the marketing around period products are all like, get on with your life and like keep going. Like, so it's really nice to think of it as not like a burden, but as an opportunity every single month, an opportunity to create or heal. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's going back, it's when people stopped listening to the woman's wisdom, and like the intuition and everything. And that's like when witch hunts became a thing, and then the burning the sky. And so then like so it was a bad thing to then have your period, because you went inwards, going inwards into your body and into your wisdom and into your ancestral knowledge, to then like have these ideas pop out of nowhere. And then that has just been developed into a lot of violence towards women, and then throughout the years, which has then resulted into us being scared and fearful for speaking out, and speaking our truth, and speaking like the wisdom that we have within ourselves,
and doubting our wisdom.
And doubting our wisdom. Yeah, exactly. So this is why, like, in today's world, it's a bad thing. It's like only because you stopped listening to women's wisdom and their power. Because divine feminine energy is nurturing and the developing of people and communities and everything. So when that stopped, you can just look around into all the marketing and see how negative touch to it.
Okay, so you mentioned the 14 elements of the circle of life. Please tell us more about that.
Okay, so like with yoga, you've got your earth, fire, wind, and water, and sometimes the ether, I think they call it. Yeah, so that's cool. But with Wayapa work, so I'm a qualified Wayapa worker, and what we teach is the Aboriginal way of the circle of life, and it involves the 14 elements. And I'll just give you some. Like, we do include earth, fire, wind, and water. We do involve like the feminine, masculine, and the child element, and it was designed in a way that if one element was taken out of that circle, there'll be no more circle. There will not be a circle of life, because we need like the air element, and we have the eagle with the air element, and what that represents also is us taking a step back, getting a bird's eye view, looking into the past, learning the lesson, and then also looking into the future and where we can take these lessons into the future and into our future goals. Type of thing. Earth, for example, when we go into the earth element, we talk about the high peaks of the mountains representing our highs in our life. The diversity across all the lands, because let's admit it, we're all diverse beings, and which is amazing and beautiful. And we also have like the valleys representing our lows, which we all have. And also with all the earth as well, the tectonic plates, that when they come together, they, like when things are coming together with pressure, we come up and we burst into like a volcano, representing when we burst into a volcano, and it's like just throw chocolate from afar type scenario. So with every element there is a story. And with Waiapa, let me just explain. Waiapa work, translated into English, means connect to the earth. So in my journey, when I have received my calling, reconnect to country, and then finding Waiapa work saying connect to the earth, it was a no-brainer that I had to become a practitioner in this beautiful modality. And the stages with this Waiapa work, we talk about it in storytelling, like just having a yarn, exactly what we're doing right now. Because having a yarn is so important. Having women's circles and men's circles are so important, because there's stuff you want to talk about that you don't really want to talk about when you have your children around. You don't really want to talk about when your husband's around. But like there's so much power and importance in these circles. So there is that storytelling, and to as like scientifically proven that when we put things into a story, it helps us retain memory. When we can actually attach it into like a story time, even before you had the children, you would have been able to remember Goldilocks and the Three Bears story. And before you had children, when was the last time you heard that story?
A long time ago.
A long time ago, but you can still remember it. Still memory retention. Match up each element with an animal or with a relation to us in our life and our journey. And then we put it into a story, and then we also put it into movement as well, which helps move stagnant energy, and while still being grounded into the ground and the environment, and bringing awareness into where we are, where we live, and just opens up those conversations really as to how we can use the environment to not only heal ourselves, but to heal the environment that we live in and for the world.
I love that idea of attaching a narrative, because there is so much in brain science around that, and like even in terms of dealing with trauma and how we put those experiences in place in our mind, it's all linked to narrative as well. And I just love the extension of that with the movement, and as well, like adding all of that together. And that is what I love about the space stoves, because so when I was in teaching, I was in a leadership role in my school. I was a head of department. And when I went back after having children, there was no like understanding of what that is like. As like,
go figure.
And that, right. And majority of the people there were women. And it was just like, But in this space, everyone's like, oh yeah, bring the kids. It doesn't matter. We can pause, we can stop. Like, yeah, I love it. I just love that about the space that we're in now, just that understanding and no judgment, which is really, really beautiful.
And it's collaborative work, not
Yes.
competition.
Yes.
It's, like understanding that we will still get through it.
Yeah.
It may just take a little bit longer and a few more extra laughs. That's all right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And a few little big feelings to work through.
That's it.
Yeah.
They're still developing and going through it all, and
Yeah. And my biggest learning in becoming a mother, which I really love what you've been talking about as well, because like I have not really had connection to anything like country, spirit, body, like nothing before. And so when I became a mother, like I had no tools. I had no tools for regulating my emotions, understanding what I was feeling, let alone helping them do the same thing. So it's just been like a whirlwind of learning all of this stuff, which is why I love talking to people and finding all of these different modalities and understandings and like ancient wisdom as well that we can draw from, because like you were saying, we've lost so much connection to that. And I think if we could reconnect to these things, the world would be a better place.
yeah,
It would be a better place.
and you made a really good point. It's like you had emotions that you didn't know how to deal with, because again, divine feminine is more of the emotions, and that was hushed. So then it's like, well, how can you help other people, like your little ones especially, develop their emotions if you haven't been taught it yourself? Because it was oh, you're just being emotional. It's like, well, yes, because we're human beings who are here for an experience.
Yeah.
And
We just
to
have
have
emotions
these,
when I grew
and
up. We didn't have them.
emotions is part of being human.
Yes.
And yeah,
It's what
another
makes life beautiful. Emotions is what makes life beautiful.
yeah, and it's knowing how to also work through them, which needs to be worked on. And like, it's okay. It's like, you're going through this emotion, let's name it, let's find out where it is in your body and see like how can we go through with this to then like deal with it, apart from pushing it under the rug or go into the room and sort your shit out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Type of thing. So, because it was bad to have an emotion.
Yeah.
And so that's what we fucking are.
Yeah.
We're emotional beings.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I've had like so much masculine energy. Like have really good healthy masculine energy because I can get things done and I can be structured and disciplined like relatively easily. But because that's been like the priority, like the focus for me, actually learning how to tap into the feminine has been its own journey for me, like how to be soft and how to like lean into those emotions rather than trying to like avoid them or just be tough and strong or like just get over it and get the work done. And like it's been really good because it's just gives you so much more depth to be successful and to create things. And yeah
I hear you on that one. Truck driver for so long, it was I had to be like a man to even be taken seriously. And and then becoming a mum, having all these all these things that I didn't know anything about. Like, because I've been an auntie for a long time, so it was a lot easier just to like put up with the good times and then palm them off for when they start crying. There's the generational healing that also needs to happen with that, because if I don't know it, then clearly my elders, like my mum and my grandmas, they hadn't been able to deal with it either, because they were shut, like they were like silenced, and it was frowned upon to like go into that feminine and like, oh, you got your period? Oh, this is great, fantastic, cool. This is what you do. Like, when this happens, this is what happens. This is like the process type of thing. Sorry. And because your womb is so activated, that's when you're going to be in touch with your ancient wisdom a lot clearer. So you
Yeah.
get to create or you get to heal. You have that time then to walk down that path as to like just be with it and trust it and go with the flow of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now it's like, oh, just go home and have some Panadol and whinge to somebody else. And but it's not like that.
Yeah. 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 I think something that is sort of coming through is sort of like this historical fear of judgment. So I know like with a lot of the women I work with and for myself as well, like there's three main fears that stop people from pursuing those dreams or those missions. And fear of judgment is definitely one. That's my biggest one, learning to overcome and well not well, yes, overcome, but just like learning to be okay with that fear and acknowledge it and have it there, hold its hand. But also like for fear of success and fear of failure. Those are the three biggest fears. And I'd love to know like how have those things impacted your journey and like how do you manage or overcome the fear and the self-doubt that comes along with those fears?
Okay. So knowing my normal sabotage, like identifying that was a massive reward for me because when you can't what's the term? You can't be involved in a world that you don't know. So being like aware of just my sabotage, like my personal sabotages, was a lot easier for me to identify them and be like, ah, that's what's showing up now. Okay. Um, do I react to this or do I respond to it? Or how am I going to respond to this? So that
Yeah.
it stops popping up, or if it does pop up, it's not as big and scary as what it had been, which had then stopped me from moving forward.
Yeah.
And the self-doubt, like I'll be honest, I still have self-doubt pop up probably every couple of weeks. Like I'll have a goal and I don't reach that goal, and then fuck it.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Like this obviously isn't for me. Like why can't this just go to somebody else? Like I'm obviously not. I don't have the strength. I don't have the skill, and like that'll set in. And then it's not until like probably another day or two later, or whenever I choose to go, hang on, look at all the evidence
Yeah.
that proves to you why you are on this path.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I said before, it's just literally me having to take myself out of the way to be like, yeah. And then it's also that recognizing that self doubt is like, okay, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm going through now. And it's not just one part, like it's life that compacts onto us as well. It's the children, it's work, it's getting the finances in order, it's making sure the dinner's cooked on time. It's like, oh my God, child, you just literally had a glass of water. Why do you need another one? So we've got a lot going on. So it's just
Yeah.
identifying that yeah, we all do have a lot of things on our plate. Uh, the priority things are being looked after though. I've got control over that, and I've got control over how I respond to this self doubt. Like sit with it. It feels yucky. I'm just going to sit with it, acknowledge it. Then what's the lesson I can learn from this?
Yeah.
Like you were talking before about how you're a teacher. So in school, you get taught the lesson and then you get the test.
Yeah.
But in real life, we have the test
Yeah.
and then it's up to us to learn the lesson.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like every time a fear comes up or a limiting belief comes up or self doubt sets in, uh, yeah, I'll be honest, I'll sit with it in a little bit and then like it'll just I'm getting better at it. It's being more quicker the more I do it. It's like, okay, actually what do I have what can I learn from this?
Mm.
What's the teachings from this? What
Mm.
am I meant to learn to move forward
Mm.
and have that air element? that I was talking to you before with the
Yes.
bird.
Yeah.
Take a step back, view it all, look at the past, and then, okay, look into the future. Like, what's the path moving forward from this by stepping out of the situation, out of the problem, and viewing it all?
I'm loving this so much because we spoke about before how you want to help people combine this ancient wisdom with modern mindset strategies, and I'm listening to you talk and I'm like, you're talking about psychological avoidance. Like, that's what you're talking about. Like, we are biologically wired to do it. You are talking about like psychological avoidance, absolutely, and you're using ancient wisdom to work through the same processes that psychologists use in like cognitive behavior therapy and like emotion therapy and stuff like that. And so I just love it because it just shows how important it is to learn these practices, because the same stuff is happening now. Like, yes, modern strategies are good too, but they're basically already there. We've already got this knowledge and wisdom if we were just listening to it. We don't, have to reinvent the wheel sort of thing. It's already here if we were just willing to be open and tap into it, because that skill set you're talking about is exactly how you overcome that avoidance. It's how you learn to overcome it, by shifting your perspective around it, by like asking yourself, is this entirely true? Is there another way to look at this perspective? And then making a plan to approach that discomfort after you've sat with it and felt that discomfort and moved through it. And I'm excited. I'm excited about it. Like, it's just cool.
Yeah. And another element is like the land element, which is what we call the kangaroo. That represents to us a self-care. Like, we get to work and we need to stop twice a day for self-care. And it's in that self-care and in that moment is when we get to like take ourselves out of the situation to get the bird's eye point of view. And we're just like, and we're self-caring ourselves. We're looking after ourselves. And it's important, because if not, we're stuck in the rut and we're moving and then we're being burnt out, and then something falls on the ground and we lose our shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the quote that I have on my work is, it's not about learning something new, it's about remembering. And when we we have these type of conversations and we stop and we get to reveal like points in our life as like, this isn't anything new. It's nothing new. We're just remembering in it and bringing new, like another voice to it.
Yeah.
And a different perspective into how we get to heal. We get to move on. We get to like identify what's in our way and move it aside so we can move forward.
I just had a thought, like, and I'd love to know what you think about this. I feel like we're possibly in the midst of a remembrance, like sort of globally, where we're working through this. We're in the wake of remembering all of these things. Like, we've come a circle, we've moved so far away. But if you think about like, even in education, the priority of staff and student well-being has become such a huge priority. So I feel like we're slowly remembering these things, or we're looking for them. Like, we're trying to find them again, to come back around to them.
Yeah, and that like taps into the water consciousness, because water holds memory. And what we use in Waiapa is like the element of the eel, the ancestral memory. Ancestral memory. There's another term for it. Apologies, I can't remember it at the top of my head. I should know it. But the reason why we use the eel is because the eel will be in the billabong. Once in its lifetime, it'll go down the creeks, it'll go down the rivers, it'll go down out into the salt water, take its journey up to the Papua New Guinea, one life ends, one life begins. The adult dies, the children are born. Through cellular memory, with also like water memory, those babies know exactly what journey to take on, what river to go into, what creek to choose to be back in the billabong of their ancestors. And it's been scientifically proven of DNA that each generation is the same of eel in each part.
Wow.
That also teaches us that us as well, when it relates back to us, is that we can go into different environments. We can be in the salt water and the fresh water. We drink fresh water and we cry salt water. We sweat salt water. Like it's that aspect, and also like the lenses. When we're in the fresh water, when we're in one environment, we have a certain lens. When we're in a different environment, we have another certain lens. And it's with this water consciousness that's like becoming more more out there and more known and aware. It's like it's that knowledge that it's just sparking up all this more what's the word? I'm getting like really passionate about it now. I'm
Yeah,
losing
it's
words.
amazing. I love it.
Can't get them all out at once.
Yeah. It's just so much to talk about, right?
It's yeah, and that's why like a lot of us are feeling that it's this remembering that is like taking a strong hold, and
Yeah.
women are speaking up. And like, no, hang on, guys, people in power, you need to hear us, because like we're not talking anything new. We're just ancient wisdom that is coming through, and what you're doing to us and what you're doing to the environment is not longevity. People talk about legacies, so what they're going to leave for their children, and it's like, well, that's cool, but what are you going to leave for the 7 generations?
Yeah.
What about their legacy? Like, what are we going to leave for them? And that's why it's becoming such a powerful movement, especially with the divine feminine and the water, because we are so connected, that it's that water memory and it's that cellular memory, it's that voice from our ancestors that it's coming through, and we can physically see it in our everyday life that something needs to change, and we need to live in harmony with the environment.
Yeah.
We need to start working with a need instead of a greed from her.
Yes. Yeah. So powerful. So powerful. Okay. So I've got 3 more questions that I want to ask you.
Lovely.
The first one is, and there may be too much, but what's one thing we can all do today to start connecting back to origin?
Give me a call.
Yes, absolutely. Love it.
Put my link in with this, belgharvey.com, and book in a yarn.
Yes.
Oh dear. What's one thing? A really easy thing for anybody listening is go into the backyard or go to the beach, take your shoes off, have skin connection with the land, and just breathe. Be in that present moment and honor the air that you're breathing, honor the soil that you're standing on, honor the liquid in our bodies and the moisture in the air, honor the wind that is blowing, that cools us down, and just really be in that moment and just stop, look, and listen. Just even if it just takes 2 minutes, that can just revive you And when you're in a state of gratitude, there is no room for fear or for scarcity or any of those low vibrations. You're just pure gratefulness automatically lifts up your vibe and your frequency, and you're just reconnecting to all the elements that is graciously offered to us through Mother Nature.
I've got goosebumps. Because I'm outside right now, so I was sitting, had my eyes closed, I was feeling the breeze. And you can, when you just stop, you can feel the pull, and you can feel the call from origin or from past, from, you know, ancestors. You can feel it. You can feel it if you just stop and you just be for a moment. Just let everything else go away. I think you may have just answered my next question, but just in case there's something else that you would like to add, what would you say to that incredible woman listening to this who knows deep down she desires more for herself, or she desires to embrace her own mission, but she doesn't know how to take that first step? What would you say to her?
Surround yourself with community. First, believe in yourself. You obviously received this desire from a higher power and for a bigger plan, because you wouldn't have received it if it wasn't meant for you. So just trust in that and believe that you are the one to accomplish that, no matter how long it takes, because we do live in a now society. And that was another thing that I had to let go of. So you can't force a seed to flower. It has its germination stage. And the more you force it, you're going to ruin it. So, yeah, just believe in that desire, believe it's for you. And then, surround yourself with like-minded women who are in that collaborative movement and who will lift you up. You have a crazy idea, they're going to support you, because they also have crazy ideas that cannot explain where it's come from or how it's their now journey. It's it's those stories that you can't explain, is when you know it's for you. Because it doesn't come from you. It comes from another source.
Yeah.
And it's for a bigger plan that we have no idea as to. We just got to trust. So it's just listening to podcasts such as this. It's doing a bit of self-development, personal development work, and like acknowledging and identifying your sabotages. And so when they do pop up, because they will, how to deal with them and who to reach out to for help to support you through that time. So then when you can fly, you've got other women like giving you air underneath your wings to really take flight. And then when you fall, because let's admit it, we do, because there's different lessons we got to learn, you're going to also have that community there supporting you for when you have those self-doubt moments, or when like, oh, that failed, so I'm such a failure. And it's like, well, no, Bel. No. It's just there's something from this opportunity that you had to learn. So let's figure it out. It's those circles, that woman circle that I was talking about before, it's those circles that are so important. They're crucial for us to move forward in this life, to be bigger than what we are, be bigger than what our family expect us to be, because they just want us to keep us close and be in the tribe and be people pleasers. But we're more than that.
Yeah.
We're generational healers, and that has to start with us. So
Mic drop, boom, I'm out. So good. Thank you so much. So I ask everyone at the end of these episodes the same question, and that is, what does the word fearless mean to you?
Fearless. I honestly don't believe there's anyone in the world who is fearless. It's just having the courage to do it scared.
Yeah.
Because if we all tap into that, yeah, there'll be a world's going to be a lot different in the next 5, 10, so on years, as because it's people are like accepting the fact that there is no one fearless, absolutely no one. It's just you got the courage to step through that wormhole to tap into that next level.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank
And
you.
that's why being around your community, and so when the negative times do happen, we're there for you.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to come back and do a whole episode on villages and community and women's circles and why that's important, because I just there's so much I want to, but another time come back for another chat about that. So thank you so much for sharing your soul mission with us, your wisdom. Where can people find you to learn more?
Okay, so the most quick and easiest way is BEL Harvey, HARVEY, all one word, belgharvey.com. They'll just go into a link, book me yarn with me. Even if you don't know what you're after, we can find it out together. And that's what we're talking about. It's that community woman circle. It's having those discussions and so either Instagram or Facebook. Again, Bel Harvey. You'll see me in my laughter on a swing, I think. Depending on when you release this podcast and when the lovely ladies are listening to it. So, but yeah, belgharvey.com, and you'll be able to find the links into how to contact me and be able to have a chat.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And before we sign off, remember everybody, it is not about eliminating fear. It's about embracing it and taking that first courageous step. So I love you. I believe in you. Be amazing.